Okay, good morning everyone. My name is Yang Yishan, and today I'm going to introduce the risk analysis of cargo damages for aquatic products of refrigerated containers, shipping operators' perspective in Taiwan. And this is my content. Chapter 1 is refrigerated container. So what is the refrigerated container? We know this is the container, and this is the refrigerator. Does the refrigerated container is the container plus refrigerator? Actually, that's right. Refrigerated container just like a joint container, just the refrigerator. And this is the picture of refrigerated container. And as we can see, it is with air condition to control the temperature in the container. And this is its interior. Frozen cargo are divided into three types. In accordance the temperature of cold, cool, and the frozen. The cargo of frozen goods are mainly frozen aquatic products and the frozen poultry meat. Frozen aquatic products are further divided into low-fat aquatic products, high-fat fish, and the red meat and fish. The profit of refrigerated container is higher than dry freight container, even although the market of refrigerated container is not as large as dry freight container. The value of refrigerated container is normally higher than dry freight container, but the cargo damage claim amount of refrigerated container is usually higher than dry freight container. So this leads many carriers to input the market. And chapter 2 is cargo damages for aquatic products. In this study, separated 3 destinations and the 19 preliminary risk factors for cargo damages are suggested from literature review and experts interviewing. And there are operational risk, hardware risk, and the consignment risk. And we gave it the number A, B, and C. In operational risk, there are 7 kinds of risk, from A1 to A7. For example, the risk of container lost temperature due to the unplug right after the container entered the container terminal. In hardware risk, there are 6 kinds of risk, from B1 to B6. For example, the risk of improper per-cooling container. In consignment risk, there are 6 kinds of risk from C1 to C6. For example, the risk of lack of goods per-cooling themselves. And chapter 3 is risk analysis and evaluation. About risk analysis and evaluation, a number of studies have applied the risk matrix model, RMM, to assess placement of risk level. Our IMM can help risk manager to develop highly efficient risk management strategies through different zones of risk level in accordance with various risk factors in attempt to lower loss occurrence rates and to reduce financial impacts for corporations. And the Australia-New Zealand standards is a common risk management standard model. It's dividing the major factors of risk analysis into 2 dimensions. This is risk frequency and severity. The risk frequency means a specific risk within a certain period. A number of times for specific risk incident was divided to occur in a risk unit was divided into 5 levels, from 5th almost certain to 1st unlikely. Risk severity means a severity of loss caused from a specific risk occurring within a certain period of time. And it also divided into 5 levels, from 5th catastrophe to 1st insignificant. In this study separated. After the estimation and the completion, risk frequency and the risk severity, the risk value was defined with risk frequency and the risk severity. Finally, risk value was divided into 3 risk areas. And it is according to Shen and Sen's 2010 advices, including the risk belong to low risk area when the risk value is between grades 1 to 4, and the risk belong to medium risk area when the risk value is between grades 5 to 14. The risk belong to high risk area when the risk value is between grades 15 to 25. And the grade is the level of frequency multiply the risk severity. And the data of 3 destinations and the completion and 19 risk factors was collected via questionnaires, and is separated with 3 parts. Part 1 is basis data. Part 2 is main content. To measure the perceived risks of 19 factors, which were based on a Likert 5-point scale, ranging from 1 for strongly disagree to 5 for strongly agreed. Part 3 is measure risk frequency and severity by Likert 5-point scale. And in research object, the questionnaire was filled in by related participants of various maritime communities in Taiwan, including container carriers, ocean freight forwarders, and container terminal operators. Research method, in addition, the surveys were completed through emails, phone calls, and in-person interviews conducted by the authors. Questionnaire statistic: 186 valid samples were collected from a 200 questionnaire, which represent 86% of total questionnaires. After conducting reliability analysis, the average value for each dimension can reach over 0.7. And it is therefore a high reliability value. And because the questionnaire in this paper introduced questionnaire survey with literature or practical verification collected by related experts. So it is paper container reasonable content validity. Then we get the result of the mean, the standard deviation, and the risk of perceived risk frequency, and the risk severity, and the established risk matrix of aquatic products of refrigerated container. And in this table, we can know the higher score, the higher risk. And the frequency 3 and the severity 3 is the most reason need to make a change and establish risk strategy. And it is divided into 3 catastrophes: risk prevention, risk reduction, and the risk transfer. In risk prevention, those risks in high frequency and low severity must to lower the potential probability. Risk reduction, these ones with low frequency and high severity are most properly used risk reduction to minimize the aggregate amount of losses that must be borne. Risk transfer, those ones we can scope the risk transfer to shift the risk to the third party. And chapter 4 is conclusion. In this study, the conclusion is the main purpose of this paper is to evaluate the value of cargo damages for aquatic products of refrigerated container based on the shipping operator's perspective in Taiwan. At first, 3 destinations with 19 preliminary risk factors are generated from literature and expert interviews. Then use an ASNZS 4360 models in order to place risk degree. And let's just study an empirical survey. The results show that the top factors of perceived risk is A2, container data setting error, such as temperature and ventilation. The last one is A6, the damage risk of goods inside the container due to improper stacking in the storage area that caused container damages. The top factors of risk frequency is C1, the length of the goods per calling themselves. And the last one is A6, the damaging risk for goods inside the container due to improper stacking in the storage area when the cost container damages. The risk severity, the top factors of risk severity is A2, container data setting error. And the last one is B1, improper per calling containers. And the sum up is there are 3 risk factors in low risk area, and there are 16 risk factors in medium risk area, and there is no risk factor in high risk area. And I'll conclude my report about refrigerated container today. Thank you very much.
First, I like your first few slides that make it fun, because then people are going to watch. Because, you know, a container plus this makes a refrigerator. That is good. As with all, I'm a little bit fast, but good information, and I think you did very well.
Thank you.
And your pronunciation in most cases is very good. A few little, but hey, don't ask me to pronounce Chinese. So no problem. So good.
Okay.
I was surprised about one thing, is that the study found no problems over here.
Yes.
And that's positive, that's good. No real severe problems.
Okay. I would like to give you a full credit for your PowerPoint
Okay.
because that's easy to read
Okay.
and easy to follow. Even though I'm not familiar with this kind of topic.
Okay.
Okay. But I have some suggestion for your slide 11, 12, and 13.
11, 12, 13.
Yes.
Yeah. Those 3 slides, you already put the operational risk.
Yes.
Then so I think that there is a lot of work you might need to you may just predict it. For example, the risk of right.
Oh, yes.
And here you just want to say specify the cost, right? The operational risk.
Yes.
So I suggest you just delete the due to something that.
Oh.
Or if you did it due to something that kind of a factor, because you talk about a factor at the end, right? For each risk, for example, the 25, page 25.
This.
Yeah, here you talk about the factor.
Yes.
So I just suggest you in the front, you talk about the cost. Yeah. I think the effect. I think the effect.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you need to specify the effect first. Then you do the investigation to see what the factor affect those effects. So in the end, you have the factor that cause the effect. So that make the whole paper is very logical, and presentation is also fluent.
I think the person needs to know what operational risks are, but what you might do is just have little bullets and summarize it
Yeah.
a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have one small question. In your conclusion, you mentioned about this paper using ASNZS.
Yes.
Right. That's Australian.
Yeah, the Australian and the New Zealand standard.
Standard.
Yes.
But in your slide 21, you show us the matrix of RMM.
Yes.
So why don't you show us the standard of Australia instead of RMM?
Oh. The first reason is the risk matrix model is easier to understand. And the second reason is the thing do not ask us to introduce the more method in this paper.
So you mean in this paper, it shows this model, RMN model, instead of the Australian? Right?
Yes.
Yes, the same thing, yeah, the same. Okay, you, slide 20, okay, slide 20. Firstly, that's a good demonstration. Yeah. This guy is presenter skill very well. Maybe you can refer the last one. I remember the last one presentation, he introduced the container central servants move
Yes.
the container level changes, right? Because this, you can explain that the case.
Okay.
Because
That case is Kaohsiung Port will build is building the container terminal number 7,
Mhm.
and the inventor is the Evergreen, and so the Evergreen are original not in the container terminal number 7, and they will move to the container terminal number 7. Then the space will be used to another company, and then the terminal, the owner of the terminal will change. Yes.
they will move another one.
Yeah, and they will
space
move
to
to
release.
another terminal.
Yes.
I mean, I wanna say is that he designed the animation.
Oh, you mean
Oh,
a
animation.
slide? Yes.
The slider animation and the
Yeah.
move here to.
Yeah, the
yeah, this guy's
They-
student, not
Yeah.
not this guy, this
What
is
he's
student.
saying is, a student.
One more question. What about how to obtain this 0.7? How? That's the reliability, right?
Yes.
What's that? What's that mean? You understand its meaning?
Yes, means
Reliability, right? You understand its meaning?
Yes.
Okay, try to speak it in English. Okay, you, because I cannot understand how to obtain this value.
0.7.
Yeah. You can explain Chinese, okay?
就是它的那个信赖
对啦，怎么来的啦？
怎么来？
你的调查不是1、2、3、4，哎，1、2、3、4、5 ，right？
平均吗？
平均啊。
Average value。
喂，also。
对啊，平均啊，the average value for each dimensions。
SPSS 的，好
不
出来。
是，这应该不，这reliability index 呢，是不是？
那个用 SPSS 跑的、啊。
对 SPSS
怎么跑？
讲说它的那个 questionnaire 是
对
合理的嘛？
就把那个问卷输进去啊，SPSS 就生出来了。在教他们的时候，我们不是说好那个研究过程不讲吗？
对了，对了啊，是讲啊，这个是好了，我
不是就是那个平均吗？
应该不是平均啊，
不是平均，
不是平均啊。
那应该是信赖度那一种，
信赖度有
信赖度那一种。
信心水准。70%的信心水准。
不是
啊。
我心里觉得，
表示你要问卷是有效的
原始质量应该没办法得出这个数字才对啊。
问卷可以，问卷输进 SPSS 可以啊。
不是你1到5分是不是你？
他应该是在讲说那个他的问卷是有效的，
对，我知道，
信息
不是。我reliability 我知道，但是它的原始资料照理来讲是没有办法算出那个东西的。我现在的意思是这样，因为你的原始资料是5个等地嘛，这边也是5个等地嘛，那你怎么能够算出那个 reliability 那个通常我们用 convection alpha 那个是因素分析里面的，所以它这个值到底 I mean the reliability index is the convection alpha I 对，但是你的原始资料。应该是没有办法算出那个东西了。
可以的，软体可以。
来，last one，快给我。
蛋姐，
What Dr. Xu was
But
saying
that
about
slide
the,
is very well, yeah.
about the slide, there was a young lady who used animation
Animation.
very effectively, and she just had the slide take and move the names of Evergreen to 7, move who's
Yeah,
going
yeah, yeah,
here,
yeah, yeah.
and did very well.
I mean,
Yeah.
this guy, yeah.
This guy right here.
Yeah.
That looks like a girl to me, but that girl like that.
I mean, their presentation last semester,
Yeah.
now it's still on
Very
the
good.
website. And CMC website, you can, I mean, you
Did
can,
very good.
yeah, refer it, yeah. Okay, good.
And now number 9.